afternoon. Welcome to St. Stephen's Episcopal Church in Sierra Vista. I am the Reverend Allison Cornell, rector of the church, and we're here today to have a piano concert with our music director, Mr. Michael Thomas Gilman. And just a little bit of introduction about Mr. Gilman. He's originally from a small New England village, and he's taught piano and chamber music at New York University and the University of St. Joseph. His most recent previous post was as organist of Christ Cathedral in the Episcopal Church in Springfield, Massachusetts, and at St. Saviour's Church, also an Episcopal church, in Old Greenwich, Connecticut. Mr. Gilman is a graduate of Yale University, and today he's going to be playing a selection of songs that we are entitled Songs of Harvest and Hope. And he's going to explain a little bit about each one as he begins or ends the songs. Now, we would ask that you make a donation for this concert, and that donation is going to go to the Foster Children's Program of Cochise County here in Arizona. As we are just about upon the holidays, this will hopefully allow the program to provide some of the toys and the things that the folks that are in foster care need. So we ask that you would please be generous, and right now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Gilman.
Thank you, Reverend Allison. Hi, I'm Michael Thomas Gilman, and I am the director here. All of the money that we collect goes directly to these children. I'm donating my time, this church is donating its time. So I want to thank the church, Allison, Mark, our technical person, our cameraman, and the vestry and Episcopal Church. And I want to thank you, because I imagine you're watching from your own homes. So thank you very much for inviting me into your homes. And the first piece I'm going to play is commonly known as a Christmas carol, What Child Is This? Interestingly enough, musicologists think that the music was written by King Henry VIII of England, who founded the Episcopal Church. So I think it's a little bit better. Thank you. Thank you. The next piece I'll play is by Rachmaninoff, and it's the Prelude in E-flat major. Thank you very much. The next piece I'm going to play is Missing Something. It's also by Rachmaninoff. And this piece is The Vocalese by Rachmaninoff. And it has a vocal line, and it's missing. And those children are missing their parents. So while I play this, I'd like you to think about what it would be if you were in their position. Or I'd like you to think about people whom you miss. Today would have been my grandfather, Anthony's 109th birthday, and I miss him very much. He used to call me Michelangelo the Great, and how can you not miss someone like that? So, anyway, to Grandpa, I know you're here, so this is for you. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Next, I'm going to play a series of selections from spirituals. This is Deep River. And with this one, thank you. Thank you all so much. This one is, I'm just a poor wayfaring stranger. Thank you. This next one is entitled, He Never Said a Mumbling Word. And So while I play the song, maybe think about those people who don't have a voice in our society. Thank you. And the next one is a particular favorite of a lot of people. Precious Lord, take my hand. Thank you. And I'd like to close this section of spirituals with a song that is, I think, really apropos. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Hi, Mom. I'm glad I have a mother. Thank you very much. I'm going to turn the program now back to our rector, Reverend Allison, who will tell you a little bit more about why we're raising the fund.
Hi, I hope you're enjoying it so far. I know that we that are here are certainly enjoying it. And thank you again, Michael, for being willing to do this for us. As he mentioned, we're doing this for the foster children's program here in Cochise County. Many of the folks that, the children that end up in foster care, unfortunately, have to leave immediately from their homes and go into foster care with basically whatever's on their backs. So any toys that they had at home, other clothing that they had at home, needs to be supplemented by the foster care program. And so some of those things that might have been treasured things that they would like to hopefully get back sometime may not happen. And so we're trying to raise some money now to help them with the things that they'll need, whether that's clothing and those kinds of necessities, or the books and toys and things that they would like to have to while away the hours and to have to play with and to take their minds off their circumstances. So if you can spare a little bit of your hard-earned dollars, we would appreciate if you could make a donation. And the way that you can do that, you can send us a check here at the church, and that's St. Stephen's Episcopal Church, 2750 Cardinal Drive, Sierra Vista, Sierra, space Vista, V-I-S-T-A, Arizona, 85635. Or you can, more conveniently perhaps, use our donate button on our website, and that's www.stephensaz.org, ststevensaz.org. And there's a button there that will allow you to make a donation through PayPal. And we appreciate anything that you can give that we can then pass on to the foster children's program here in Cochise County. What have we got coming up next, Mike?
Well, we have a hymn, then some Brahms, and then a medley of hymns. And then we're going to finish with Scott Joplin.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. So this is one of my favorite hymn tunes. Not only mine, but that of Johann Sebastian Bach, Johannes Brahms, and most organists I know. And it's Deck thyself, O soul, with gladness. Schmucke dich, O liebe Seele, in the German. And the text is very interesting. Deck thyself, O soul, with gladness. Leave the gloomy haunts of sadness. Come into the daylight's splendor. There with joy thy praises render. Thank you. The next piece I'm going to play is by Johannes Brahms. It's the Rhapsody in G minor, Opus 79, number 2. Jacques Attali, who was finance minister of France, wrote a book about music who claimed that it was a prophetic art. And this piece was written in the late 1880s. And just a few years later, World War I broke out. And I think that you can hear in this music this dread, this dread of what's to come. And I think we can all relate to that now with the situation right here at home, in our own homes, in the country, and in the world at large. You know, and so anyway, without further ado, here is the Rhapsody in G minor by Johannes Brahms. very much. Thank you. Thank you, Brahms. And so I'm going to close, almost close, with a selection of hymns. This is an old favorite that I remember singing in elementary school way back in Massachusetts. And it's We Gather Together. Thanksgiving is coming up next week, so I thought this would be appropriate to share. I think it's interesting that the text of it is we gather together to ask the Lord's blessing. And I think all of us pray at some time or another, some of us more than others, some of us need it more than others. But I wonder if we want to ask God for something, what are we willing to give Him? Every week when I come here, I feel so blessed to drive down through Tucson. And it's a total accident, that I'm here. I got sort of stuck by the coronavirus, and what a blessing it really is, to drive through the Sonoran Desert, to come here and every day, every hour, it is more magnificent. And it reminds me very much of when I lived in Israel. All of the prophets went to the desert to meditate. Jesus, those 40 days in the desert, and it really is incredible. But anyway, last week I heard this great sermon, thank you, Allison, about the talents. That a man whose parable, who read the gospel, was the parable of the man with the talents who gave to each of his slaves when he went away, something. And 2 of them invested it, and a third just buried it in the ground. And I think, God gives each of us, a talent, something to do, something that we have, whether it's money, time, talent, or treasure. And what do we do with this? I'm donating my time here, and I'm honored to do it. I am honored to do it because I feel like, I'm honoring my teachers, I'm honoring my family, I'm honoring my community and the values that they try to instill in me, and that I hope to live up to, and to the generosity of my host in Tucson. I was going to come for a couple of weeks. I've been here almost a year. So thank you, Morris. But what are you going to do? We are all facing a changing lives. But instead of complaining about it, let's think of what advantages that it has given us. And maybe slow down. Maybe actually spend more time with our families. To think about what we are doing, about where we are going, both as a people, as a family, as a nation, and as a world. So, without further ado, this last set of hymns is dedicated to Miss Edna May. This is I Heard the Voice of Jesus Say. one is Amazing Grace. I have a nocturne by Chopin to play. This is the nocturne in E major. It's the last nocturne that he wrote. Thank you very much. I think we have time for one more, and so it will be Solace by Scott Joplin. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
And thank you, Mike, for those wonderful selections. And again, if you would like to make a small contribution, a donation for the beautiful music that we've heard today, please go to our website and use our donate button, or you can send us a check in the mail to St. Stephen's Episcopal Church, 2750 Cardinal Drive, Sierra Vista, Arizona, 85635. Thank you for joining us, and we'll have another concert in the new year, so stay tuned. Thank you. Bye-bye.